And that is how you introduce culture cues. That's how you do that. Okay, so let's start off very quickly, Heyfa, with you and me just chatting a little bit about why we decided to do this particular workshop.
Yes. So what I can say for this workshop. So for me, as I always say, that we have many stereotypes, and I'm trying to explain to people that it is normal to have this kind of stereotype, and we always trying to fight when we are aware, when we are open to that. We are trying to fight with this kind of stereotype, and always when you go on stage, there is many person who say, no, pay attention, there is a stereotype that you do. But for me, a stereotype, it's more like something, the laziness of intellect. Like when we don't want and we don't have time to do an effort, we go directly to the stereotype. It's not a problem. But the problem is if we think that this kind of stereotype is the truth, and we don't ask them, and we don't try to go more than the stereotype. And that's why we are here to try to question this kind of thinking.
Excellent. So you said something, and I put it in the chat, the laziness of intellect. I love that. That is exactly why we're here. The idea that not that people are lazy, but that we have put something in our brains that it's like a placeholder, so that when we see something, oh, okay, it just goes into that placeholder and we understand it. But this idea, this laziness, this placeholder, makes it so that we aren't doing a good job connecting on a deeper level, which is what we're here to do. We also don't feel heard or seen as people of color, or as people with that are differently abled. We don't get to play on stage or in the world, right? With that. So let's get into this workshop. You and I know we have like so much things that we want to try to cover, but we're going to cover as much of it as we can. So the first thing that we're going to do, right, is get as many people up on stage as we can. If you would like to introduce yourself, just to be transparent, we are going to ask you to identify yourself, to give us your gender, and some other questions like that. So we're getting right into being open a little bit. So if you're here and you would like to join us on stage, we would really love to have you here. Otherwise, you might be just
I just want to add, like, we will give you some question, and feel free to not answer to that if you don't want.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's see if we have anyone who would like to join us. I know we do have some people out there. And actually, to get us started, Heyfa, while we're waiting for people to jump on, would you like to, you and I, we can go through the questions that we are going to ask and actually answer them?
Yes, for example, I will introduce, like, we can introduce yourself, but your pronoun to identify yourself if you want. The first name or nickname, the gender, and all it is if you want, it's an optional. The culture you wish to promote today. For example, for me, I live in France and I am Tunisian, and today I'm coming as Tunisian, as North African culture. I am Heyfa and my pronoun is she. And you can introduce yourself with your, for example, country of origin if you want, the country where you live if you want. the skin, if the colors is something that identify you, your job, if also this is something that identify you. For example, not at all for me, the job not identify me at all. And I say anything else important for you to introduce yourself.
Here we
We
go.
have Shannon. For example, you can say, I am North African culture, I'm Arabic, I'm Heyfa, I'm a woman. And that's all for me. That's identify me the most important.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, lovely to see you. Wonderful people. Yeah, so I'm Janine, and I actually live in Finland, but it's kind of weird because I was born in Austria, even though my parents are Indian, so my skin color is dark. I'm a person of color, but my mother tongue is English, even though my school was like it was like in Austria, so the language of the country was German. So I'm like very confused with my identity in general. Okay. But yeah, and yeah. If you want, I can also say about my job or whatever. But yeah, I'm a bit similar to you, Heyfa, that I feel like it's not kind of relevant to who I am. But
no, it's okay. It is what you want that identify you, you can share with us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I will maybe quickly say that I am a medical doctor, but I was working in psychiatry, and I felt like creativity was like the core kind of issue with healing, I felt. So that's why I'm with improv, especially after working in psychiatry. And so that does identify me in that sense. My passion.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Amy Carol, if you want to do the same exercise to introduce yourself with what we introduce, what we identify yourself.
Sure.
I'm sorry for my English. Okay.
Oh, please. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So I don't know, my camera's acting weird. I even fluffed my hair and everything. So I'm very American, as you could probably hear from the accent, and living 26 years in the French part of Switzerland. I would identify as white, she, heterosexual, 57, and professionally a communication coach and trainer. I don't know, anything. My favorite color is apple green.
Yeah. I love that.
I'm obsessed with it. Yes.
Yeah, I should go. I should definitely go. My name is Shannon. I actually don't identify with any gender. I do identify as Black. I don't quite identify as African American. I've made that choice, but I do identify as a Black person. I am the firstborn of Black parents, and I am global. I feel very, as far as like having a home, I never really feel like I have a direct home. When people ask me where I'm from, I hesitate all the time because I used to live overseas. I lived in Paris, and I lived in Kenya and a lot of places in Africa. And I have a hard time saying exactly where I'm from. So there you go.
Thank you. And Shirley, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, hi, I'm Shirley Rivera. I go by the pronouns she, her, hers, and identify as a cis heteronormative female. My culture that I identify with is Filipino American, but if you ask me what I have to fill out on federal government forms, I'm forced to check Asian, and that's okay because I'll do it, but it's sort of like identity, right, is wrapped around that. So my skin color, I actually describe myself as a light Filipino, and for my job, I actually kind of carry through from education. I started as a chemical engineer, got into the environmental field for air quality, started working with different businesses and power plants, and because of being able to be in the public space where the community gets concerned. I have had pursuing interests in environmental justice. So I believe that the world is connected, and that part of what I get to do is discover how it's connected and hopefully help other people make connections as well.
Thank you, Shirley. For the one who comes just now, we are introducing ourselves by something that identifies us. It means if you want your culture, if you want your pronoun, your gender, your job, if it identifies you, your color of skin, what you want that for you is important to identify you. I don't know, Anki or Phil, if you want to do the exercise.
Hello.
Hi, Anki.
My name is Anki. I'm coming from Croatia, but I've been living for the last 6 years in Munich, Germany. This is also the place where I started learning German, so you can probably imagine how was it living for the first few years, not knowing the language. I am actually having difficulties with identifying myself. I am just myself. Maybe I can say, yeah, I'm a female, but more than that, it's everything is so global in my brain. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe identify myself with, I like to write.
Yeah.
I always have pen and paper. And yeah, and I like connecting people. So that brings me joy. But is that an identification? I don't know. I'm being honest.
It's okay. Thank you, Anki. Phil, do you want to join?
Yeah, hi, good morning. I am Phil. I am he, originally from England, but I live in Canada. I have dual citizenship, and I came here via Australia. So I have this very, very confused accent and confused citizenship issue. I'm a outdoorsy snowboarding, mountain biking, but also indoors theatre and performing nerd.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for introducing yourself. And we want with Shannon to suggest your first exercise to do it together related to culture and stereotype. The first one is each person, we will do it together here. Each person will give quickly 5 stereotypes that people send back to you every day in your life, or for those who make improvisation, they can perhaps some stereotype, they have it on stage. And if you know the exercise for improvisation, all we can put on our microphone, and we will do it with some energy and some fun. When the first person say the first stereotype, all together said, this is the one, the second, and 5. Okay, just like some to be some funny and some energetic. And I always, something that identify myself, I always apologize for my language. I'm sorry, because for my English. This is something that identify myself. I will begin. For me, what is the stereotype? I wrote some for them. My presupposed religion as Muslim. All together, one.
One.
I'd say it in English, submissive woman.
2.
I am a good cleaner.
3.
I'm a paperless.
4.
What I can say also, I'm a good wife.
5. Wow.
Thank you. This is 5 stereotypes for me. Who's one want to do this exercise? Shirley?
Yeah. I am submissive.
1.
I am polite.
2.
I'm really good at math.
3.
I'm a bad driver.
Whoa. 4.
I make lumpia.
5.
This is 5 stereotypes.
Stereotypes of me.
Oh my gosh, these are great. They're great and terrible. All right, who would like to go next?
Amy?
All right, Amy.
Okay. I'm loud.
1,
I'm obnoxious.
2,
I'm superficial.
3,
I like fast food. And I don't know my geography.
5.
This is 5 stereotypes for you.
5 stereotypes.
So I don't know if okay, good.
Yeah. I'm big with a shaved head, so I have to be tough.
1,
I'm from England, so I must like tea.
2,
I'm from Canada, so I must spend my time chasing bears.
3.
I used to be a firefighter, so that makes me brave.
4,
And I like being on stage, so I'm like self-centered.
5 stereotypes.
Anki, do you want to play with us?
I will try. I was laughing so much I can hardly breathe. Okay, so I am religious.
1,
Wow.
I'm very traditional.
2,
I'm a social worker, therefore I understand and can solve all my problems.
3,
Great.
Having only one child is a selfish thing.
4,
And I'm loud and have no filter.
5 stereotypes.
Thank you all to play the game with us. And you see that we have many stereotypes for many axes. It means stereotype about culture, about. Hey, Shannon, you did it. Don't do it. Yeah. You were not.
I'm in. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, I've got to go. Here we go. All right. I only have one parent.
What?
I must not be from America because of my accent.
2,
I eat chicken.
3,
I'm an activist.
4.
And one of my family members has been murdered by the police.
5
stereotypes.
Thank you, Shannon. I love this exercise. It's really fun. So what I'm saying that there is many axes. There is stereotype because we are women. There is stereotype because we are black. There is stereotype because we are from Canada, from type country, religion. About I like the Anki one about children. Also, I have the stereotype because I don't have children, so I am like so ambitious. There is many axes to have stereotype on stage or on the real life. So to go a little bit further on this subject, we propose to we will go on the breakdown room on the table with the technology. I'm really so we'll by pair.
Floor plan. We'll go to the floor plan.
When I don't have my vocab in English, I use by pair. Go by pair.
It's working. It's working for you.
Okay, it's working. We'll go by pair. We will try to give you some setup, and we want you to think. In this setup, I will try to. I don't know, Shannon, you are more quick than me.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them. Yes, I'm gonna do it for you.
Okay, and I will try to explain. Thank you, Shannon. So the setup we will give you, it's by pair. We'll give you some. I will give you the first one. For example, we have one transgender person apply for a position. And it is not possible. Like they refuse that. We will give you many things. You have to choose one from the chat, And you have to think together the list of why this position can be like refused because of the stereotype. Can give for, I don't know, transgender because it is something with other people, with client, with customer, and our customer cannot, etc., cannot accept a transgender person. Don't like give us all the list of what you think about the stereotype of transgender. And also we want you to think also about how can you surprise the public when you are on stage and we have this kind of situation. What can be another solution than because he is transgender, that's why you refuse the position. I will give you only one example to understand this part of the exercise. For example, the transgender person applied to be a taxi driver, but he don't have a car license. That is the end things, okay? I just to repeat, if you don't understand me well, the first part list of the stereotype, and the second part, some solution to deal with this kind of situation if you are on stage. Or another, just to be something to surprise our public. Is it okay? I'm always not sure about my English. It's okay. Good.
Yes, I think so. But the examples, some examples are in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got some examples to play with. So you're going to pair up. We're going to go back to the floor plan, and you can, with your partner, talk through what the stereotype side is. Yep, we're going to go there now, Siddharth, in like 1 second, what the stereotype side is, and then what the surprise side is. I think everyone has it. So go ahead.
Choose one.
Yes, choose one. Choose one of the things in the chat. All right, Siddharth, if you're ready to get us to the floor plan, yes, please, Toby, pair yourselves up.
Yeah, and if you lose me, please call me back. If you lose me on the stage, call me.
We will pick you up.
So, we want to have like some feedback for your pair. I think that I see Anki and Phil together. Can you give us some feedback for your purpose that you choose one or two? I don't know if you had time to deal with more than one.
I can say one sentence and then Phil can say the report. So I asked Phil, what's wrong with Australian on a beach? I just don't get it. And then he gave me the whole reveal. Please, Phil.
So the stereotypical Australian on the beach is male. They're in their 20s. They've gone surfing. They're drinking beer. They don't have sunscreen on. They're getting sunburnt, and they're happy about that. They're listening to Triple J radio, and it's on too loud. And there's like a group of them.
Oh,
that's really, it was my idea when we put that. This is the stereotype we have. So,
and Siddharth is asking if it's Bondi Beach.
Oh, Bondi.
Oh yeah, Bondi. That's like stereotypical Australian beach.
And so what, okay, we see the stereotype, you list the stereotype, thank you. And if you have this kind of situation on the stage, what can we have something to surprise our public?
We came up with, it's a female lifeguard who volunteers on the weekends to keep people safe at the beach.
Okay. Good. I love this idea. And do you deal with, for example, we will see Emmy, we are with Janine. You choose Asian subject, I think. Asian stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah, I came in very late because my laptop went crazy. I apologize. That's why I'd be like disappearing and coming back. But yeah, but you go, Amy. You had an awesome idea at the end about the surprise aspect.
Okay, so this kind of got dark really fast, and I can't blame it on anyone other than myself. So I went with really kind of intense. They're buying the 10 dogs to kill them, to serve them in the restaurant. They're not going to tell the restaurant owner, guests. and they don't tell the customers a lot of information. They're also at the same other stereotypes. They're very hardworking. They're very insular, and they stay together. Those are the stereotypes we came up with.
And do you find a way to go, how to say, around the stereotype?
Yeah, we only had a chance to come up with one real quick at the end, and that was that one of their favorite family activities. So we stayed with the stereotype of being insular, except that their activity is they do family hip hop dancing together. And they were going to volunteer at a dog shelter to raise money for the dogs so they could have happy homes and live for a long time.
Okay, good, thanks. Shirley, I don't see you on the table. I don't know where you do the exercise with whom.
It was with Chris and Toby, and I was almost going to say, I was trying to type fast, going, Shannon, get Chris up here or Toby up here, because we went through all of the examples, and we also kind of just went straight to solutions. And I remember I had mentioned as I was reading some of them, I just like, oh, it could be this. So we all, one Arabic Black person in a police station, we're like police chief, so we hadn't even really talked so much more about that. The Asian restaurant owner buying 10 dogs sort of evolved that perhaps the restaurant is like a vegan place of sorts. And the owner does show dogs either through, I'm going to let Chris talk about show dogs because you actually drilled down into that. If he'd like to.
Yeah, we just added the caveat that it's actually agility competitions where dogs kind of go dumping hoops and whatnot. And so, yeah, they've got a whole team of agility dogs that they manage. And so, yeah.
Yeah, the one with the woman with the hijab crying with a man who's yelling has quite a story. So I'll say I started off with he was yelling excitement because she had just said yes to the proposal. And then Chris and Toby had, if you'd like to share.
I went with, she had just won an Olympic gold medal, and it's her coach that's yelling in excitement because they weren't even thinking she'd make the Olympics, but she just won a gold in tears, and he is just beside himself screaming in joy. Congratulations. So
I love that.
Many good there. Toby, you have something to add?
Yeah. I mean, you can't top the Olympics. That's the best. But I was like, she's just a contestant on The Price is Right.
Yes. Good thing. I love all this idea. So this exercise is just to show you that sometimes this is what we say with Shannon, is the laziness of our intellect. It means we can go directly, and all of you, when you say the sentences written, I think that all of you go directly to the stereotype. This is what we think. And after that, we have just to take some little moments to find another solution. And all of you find something funny, something, and the story that the solution, the story that you give and that you find are, for me, really, really better, more interesting than to go directly to the trap, to the, how do I say, the things that we fall down in that. So, it is 5 minutes left. Okay. We have another exercise, but we cannot do it all of us. We will try to take only one of you or two because we don't have many time, and we want also to conclude a little bit before. This is something here we did exercise to surprise our partner with some stereotype situation, and we propose like a stereotype to have like a scene painting, a situation that's related to your life. I will give you the example. It is better because I'm not sure to explain. For example, I said a black family in a kitchen outside, okay, with on floor setting. Now they cooking, and I want you to give us this kind of scene painting from your life, and something that where you live, or something that it's not fit your usual day-to-day, or if you tell it in your colleague, it's something strange for them, or if you tell it in your friend, etc. Do you have some, I don't know if it was clear or not for you. I'm not sure. Shannon, perhaps something to...
Yeah, just the idea of something that happens in your culture, family experience, culture/family or experience that is unique to you. And if you were to share it, it might not resonate either on stage or with someone else. So for me, like Heyfa said, for me, something very generic that happens a lot is I say the words, or I call my sister Zaria, and my friend who is doing this, Yinka. So yelling Zaria or Yinka, those names are very culturally familiar to me, but they're not familiar to other people. Or in what Heyfa is talking about, setting wise, right? Like, so it might not be me, but people who take off their shoes before they enter their homes, things like that. So now I'll stop talking so someone else can start talking.
Just one of you give us one example? We cannot do it for us. Emmy, first shotgun.
So in my family, we went on a family trip many years ago, and when we were staying in this house, the neighbor would scream to get her dog's name was Sydney, and when she would go outside to get her dog to come back into the house, she would scream, Sydney! And yeah, right? And so we do this 30, 40 years later. We'll walk into the kitchen and go, Sydney! And we think it's hilarious, and the people visiting are like...
So it is something, it's really related to your family. But do you have like an example? It is more, how to say it, it's more something stereotype that a person can, for example, I say when we see many people when they pray, for Muslim, when they pray, they are like on the floor. It is something that can disturb. I don't want to say something, it's not bad or good, but it can disturb. It's not something more hilarious. Do you have some example like that?
I can't think of one offhand.
I don't know. We do this so off and on, but sometimes Filipinos, when I was growing up, we eat with our fingers, and it seemed normal. And then when you go to somebody else's party as a kid, it's not normal. So, and it's not necessarily even like where you pick up food like injera. It's not like that. It's just the food, the rice, the chicken. You just, and that's it.
Good example. This is this kind of example that I wanted to find. For example, when you do it, when you do it on stage, or some person do that on stage, it's always come to you like Asian, like this, for this stereotype. What I want all together to think that if you see that on stage, what can we, how can we interpret that, but in another way? It's pretty much the same exercise that we do it, but like here it is more a scene painting. You see one person taking something with the hand, that this person is Asian and she do that. How can we find another thing than tell her you are eating food? I give you some idea to have. Like, if I understand, Shirley, this is something you pick. You are on stage. You pick. You are Asian, like you're in your face. When you see that, we will always say, okay, it's the rice. Now I want you to give some other solution to this situation. We are late. No, don't have. For example, this is... This is like for sport, it's kind of yoga. When you put that, it's kind of yoga for the finger. And because you had an accident before in your life, and this finger not work very well, that's why the doctor give you this kind of exercise to do it like twice an hour. And this is why you do it. It is like just an example to do it, just to find it like this. So
it's a traditional dance they do, and it's a movement for the dancing, showing the birds.
Or for example, you never smile, and you try. I try to smile. I try to smile. I'm trying to smile. Now, this is something when we want when we want to surprise our partner, when we see our partner doing something, or if we do something, if I'm trying to pray, for example, I am in position of prayer and I am trying to find something small that is on the floor, or don't worry. So the time is off.
And Heyfa, also don't rush too much, because like I am creative approach, so I will end us. I will say when we are done. So you tell me, just take your time.
I love that. I'm really privileged. I don't know.
That was awesome.
So, to conclude, I want to have like such a table tour, and I want you to give us what for this small workshop or teaser of workshop, how to say it, because it's so short. How can you change, or do you have an idea to change when you see stereotype, or if it is something that help you this workshop for something? Someone want to take just for a few seconds? Anki?
First of all, thank you for the for the workshop. In a way, I'm gonna skip a lot of issues, because if I see this, I would not even think of Asians and eating. So no worries there. I will think of something else, because my brain doesn't connect it, as well as those Australians. But there are things that I might, immediately link to some stereotype. And this workshop actually encourages me. I won't even say, like, gives me a task, to go beyond that and really think of another scenario that I could do, and not just go to the first one because it's the easiest, because it's engraved in us, because this is the first thing we see. So I'm just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Is there another person who want to give us some words?
I think it's so important.
Yeah,
sorry, you go. You go, Phil.
Go for it, Janine.
Oh,
it just made me think of something that I saw in a TV show recently. If you guys have watched Ted Lasso, where there's a great scene where he talks about choosing to be inquisitive rather than be judgmental. And that's what it made me think of. And it's something I've tried. I work in customer service, and it's something I've tried recently with customers, to like not judge, but like, all right, find out what's going on, find out more about them before making the judgment. So not go to the first thing. That's what it really made me think of.
Janine, you want to say?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say you got this is so important. I think this workshop, thank you so much. It was like, even in such a short time, it kind of opened my eyes as to like how lazy I actually am, and I just didn't realize it, like how lazy my intellect actually is, until like Amy was talking about the hip hop dancing, and like I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, of course, like, yeah. So thank you.
So to finish this workshop, I want to thank you, I think, for your participation. And I just want to finish to say, don't be afraid about your stereotype. It is something really normal. It is something that it is to ease that our brain take this kind of stereotype to be easy for us, and to not be like exhausted all the day. So don't be afraid of that. It's something normal, but just try to go a little bit more than this stereotype, and don't think that it is the truth. That is all. But it's not a problem to have a stereotype. For me, it's my idea. Shannon, I give you the last word.
You did it. No, you did it. I'd also just like to thank everyone on screen for participating, right? We went through some, at the very beginning, we were super vulnerable. It is vulnerability. It takes a lot of vulnerability to play the game of 5 stereotypes. Like, it's thank you, Heyfa, for making that like light, right? It felt good to share in that way. And thank you all for being vulnerable. Thank you all for being on stage.